Hang on. Recording in. Why can't I see my face in the corner?
Yeah, your camera's not on.
Hang on. How do I do that? Oh, here we go. Start video. I'll scare someone here. There I am. How you going?
Not too bad, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad for a Sunday.
Thank you so much for joining me, mate. I really appreciate your time, buddy.
That's cool.
Um,
What's your background, mate? What are you doing?
So I'm a stay-at-home dad at the moment. I've got 10 kids at home that I look after.
How many?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Are they all yours?
No, I've got 5 step kids. So between me and my missus, we've got 12 between us.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I've got 5 step kids and 7 of my own. So, yeah.
Jesus, mad fucking ruler. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Absolutely.
Bloody hell. Right. What are you a Kiwi?
No, mate. I'm an Aussie. My partner is a Kiwi though. She's Māori.
Yeah, I can hear some fucking Kiwi in you.
Yeah, I lived over in New Zealand for a little while, so yeah, I picked up the accent.
There you go.
Yeah, I played juniors. I come from Lismore in New South Wales. Lived up in Queensland. Yeah, I played junior footy over in Queensland, and then
so you got a podcast. Is this a podcast we're doing? Is it or?
It's for a Facebook page. I've got obviously Instagram page as well.
Okay.
It's what I'm trying to do is, I go to local games over here, juniors, seniors, report on games, take photos and stuff. Try to promote the clubs over here. Trying to get more participation over here, and then also share NRL news as well.
Is it working?
Not yet. I've only
it's a hard game. Look, they tried the Western Reds over there and it failed. Now they're still talking about another side in rugby league. I've always said there's not enough players, not enough quality players, and what they call them, the Dolphins, are struggling now. It's like one fucking player.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
I think for Perth and stuff, they need a proper pathway system. There is talent over here, but it's a matter of trying to get them over. And then the players that do go, they have to move to Sydney or Brisbane to play NRL level anyway. So,
well, see, if it's not like it's an hour away, mate. Like it's a big 5-6 hour flight. The mathematics of it all would be so expensive.
Yeah,
but
it would be. But like from my point of view, is the NRL is trying to compete with the AFL, and the AFL. There's 2 AFL teams over here that do it every week. So, if they can make it happen, sure the NRL can too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah.
Right.
Let's get into it, eh?
Let's go, big boy.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, mate, thank you so much for your time. I know you're an extremely busy man, mate. You got your book that's coming out or come out already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got it here. Actually, it's in the back of the car.
Nice, Spud.
Yeah.
The story of Mark Carroll.
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do. When I retired, I've been retired footy now 21 years, and I always thought I'd do a book with Paul Harrigan, and that never come about. And then when COVID hit, I was doing some work at Fox Sports, and the bloke called Adam Hawes was on I used to do panel work with him, and unfortunately, he lost his job in COVID. And then we spoke about writing a book. He's never written one. I've never done one. And the next thing, I'm actually sitting down exactly where I'd sit for an hour a day. I'd have a 2 years new in my hand. I'd have one beer and just talk as we're doing now. He'd record it all, and then he'd come back in format of email form. And when it started coming back, I then send off to my mates and mentors to say, what do you think? And the way the book reads, it reads like I'm doing it. They are my words. It's the way I speak. And Adam's just done a fantastic job, because my mates were saying, Spud, this actually sounds like you. I said, well, it is me. But and the crazy thing about it is that it also comes out on audio book, which I'm not much for a reader, so I've got the audio book. A mate of mine, Wayne Blair, is an Australian actor, did the audio book for me. And I've got to tell you, there's some chapters I didn't even read. I just used to send them to my mates and they'd come back and say, Spud, this is great, and then pass it back on. So I'm actually having a bit of a chuckle at night. So I'm listening to some of the stories. But COVID stuffed me up, mate. It's regards bookstores and all. So any listeners out there, then go to penguin.com.au and order a book. And I'm pretty sure now they're in all bookstores, which we're allowed to visit now.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it as well. I've got to wait for Christmas time as well. The missus already said that I can get the book at Christmas time. So, yeah, because I was a huge fan of yours growing up as a kid, mate. I mean, you played, even though unfortunately you played for Manly, I wasn't a Manly supporter. My old man was, but I loved everything about the way you played, mate. How hard-nosed you were. You didn't take no backward step. It was just 100% forward and let's go.
Yeah, I think it comes out of the background. I'm from what they call the western suburbs of Sydney, out near Parramatta way. I'm actually a Parramatta junior. Everyone thinks I'm a Penrith junior, but I'm actually a Parramatta junior. But I got shafted as a kid. No doubt you played many sports as a kid, and back then politics was in. It's still in life, bloody politics. It's everywhere, and I ended up changing direction. I went on the dark side. I went and played rugby union for 2 years. But that was, mate, I was an outside back. I was a fullback. I was a centre. And I was a 5'8" in rugby league up until I was 18.
Yeah.
Sure, I finished in the front row. With myself and Mark Geyer, MG, he played for St Mary's and I was at Blacktown, St Pat's Blacktown, and we were both 5'8", 6'4", same hairstyle with the bum part through the middle, and we did everything: chip over the tops, kicking, goal kicking. And then he got graded before I did, and my dream was always to play first grade. And to make a name for myself, I had to change position from second row to front row, and that happened when I went to South in 1990. And George Figgins said, "I want to turn you into a front row." I said, "Here I am, George," and it started from there.
Yeah, nice. I was reading up as well that you were part of the Penrith sort of system as well in between 87 and 89 as well. Did you played first grade for them, or was it more the second grade or the reserve grade sort of stuff?
Well, there's actually a chapter in the book about the many special people in my life, and the guy I met back then in 86, 87 was a bloke called Rudy Talmack. Unfortunately, I've lost a couple of people this year, man. I lost my father 6 weeks ago, and then just recently lost Rudy as well. It's something's going upstairs. I don't know why they keep taking the good people, but the thing about Rudy, he taught me the art of playing rugby league, and the art of playing rugby league is to know your job. It's like anyone at work. Worry about your own job. Don't worry about what Billy and Jill are doing over there. Worry about your own job. My job was to go forward, and my goal was always 20 hit-ups with the ball and 20 tackles, and meaningful tackles. And as you said, I got graded. Back then we used to have a thing called under 23s. So I actually had a fantastic year, got player of the year sort of thing. And then we go into reserve grade, and the reserve grade coach didn't like the way I played. Like I said, I was a bit of a fancy player. I'd have the cutout ball. I didn't do any of the hard stuff. I did all the fancy shit, And I remember in a room when we're that close to each other, and I wanted to punch this bloke straight in the head, and he gave it to me. And I just said to him, I said, "I'm going to stick this up your ass." I was reserved for reserve grade, and what I say to people, it's hard doing it when you're off the bench, but sometimes what happens, one of your best mates might be MG, Mark Guy, playing reserve grade. He gets injured. As I walk past, whoever come off, I remember saying in my head, "You won't be getting your spot back." Right? Yeah. That was my mental attitude. And for the next 3 weeks, I got selected in the side, and those 3 weeks, every Sunday night, I had to get up the stage because I was awarded man of the match off a coach who didn't think I could play. And I broke his hand every time. I tried to break his hand so hard. And on the 4th week, someone went down. Again, a mate of mine, and I got picked for first grade, and I never went back.
Yeah, awesome. That's the way to shove it up there, bum, mate. Isn't it, mate?
It is. I think, like I said, they just try to overcomplicate things in rugby league now these days. The game, like when you and I were coming through and thinking about playing footy and that, But now I play in the middle, I play on the left edge, I play on the right edge. Mate, just get in and do your work. You don't have to worry about, like, you ever look at centres now. Oh, I only play on the left side. You go to the right side, I can't move. Well, the great players of the game can play anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like when I played juniors, I had the size of me to play prop, but I was more skillful than that. So I played anywhere from hooker to halfback, 5'8". But I could also run it like a prop. So I knew my time to take on the 4 or 5 defenders and get through the line. And a lot of people these days, a lot of kids these days, like you said, are pigeonholed into playing the one position and one side only. It's like you said, it's overcomplicated. Playing for Souths, playing for such a big, rich club in the sense of the history behind it, mate. How was that going from the western suburbs of Sydney?
It was great. My pop was a follower of South Sydney, and I just wanted to go there and play first grade, continuous first grade. And in 1990, I went down there, and they got minor premiers the year before. I'm thinking I'm going to a really strong side here, and the way that year ended up, we only won 2 games that year. We got what they call the wooden spoon, but out of those games, my goal was just to worry about myself. Go out there, do me 20 carries, do the 20 tackles, and if you can do that as a player, you're going to be in the top 3 players every game. And one particular game against Manly, the Sydney Football Stadium, it was about mid-year. My dad used to ring up. My dad never played footy. He was a bass player for Johnny O'Keefe. He was a bit of a muso, and he didn't play footy, but he knew a lot about it. And he didn't say much. He'd ring up and he'd give me a couple of people to bash, and then he'd hang up. That was my life. Bash Martin Bella, bash Ian Roberts, and then hang up. But the one thing he did say was Bob Fulton was in the crowd. Bob Fulton, he was the Australian coach, but also the Manly coach, and they picked a one-off test after that game, and I hit Ian Roberts so hard. Oh my God, it was probably still the best tackle I've ever done. But as he's come down, all the boys have come down to try and rabbit chop him because he played for South the year before. He always liked to give him a bit of a niggle, And the next day I was actually working. I was a roof plumber, and a lady came out about 9 o'clock and she goes, "Oh, which one's Mark?" I said, "Yeah, me, love." And she goes, "There's a phone call for you." Mate, back then there was no mobiles. There were all those bloody curly phones. And I went in there and I'm thinking, shit, someone's dead here. And she goes, it was Jeff Carroll, Australian Rugby League, just made the Australian side. I started crying, bawling. And because of Ian Roberts, he got selected for the Australian side, but he had a cracked cheekbone. They reckon I did it. I got him pretty good, but. And Bozo said, "I want the bloke who bashed him," and that was me. So my dad had pretty good foresight who to get.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. I mean, Ian Roberts is, one of those hard men of rugby league as well. So,
I played with him. I played with him at Manly, but those 4 years I had at South, for me to go to Manly, I went there to win a comp, mate. I didn't worry about the money. Bozo said, "How much money you want?" I said, "Bozo, don't worry about the money. The money will come. I want to win a comp." I just hate losing Monopoly. Can you imagine me losing the game of rugby league? That's what I tell people. I hate losing. I'm 54. I still bloody hate losing. But I went to Manly to win a comp, and we had 4 great years there.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, talking to Manly, the '96 premiership. How do you remember that sort of era? With the Super League wars as well. And you guys coming out on top in that '96 grand final.
Yeah, it was crazy times. I remember getting a phone call at 10 o'clock at night from Bozo saying, "You've got to come in and sign." I went, "Boz, mate, I'll be there tomorrow morning." My philosophy was, didn't really know much about Super League. My thing is, without the ARL, they ain't giving me a name. They ain't giving me a chance to play rugby league. So I thought I owed them that. And I signed up with the ARL. Super League lasted for a little bit, but I think the ARL ended up getting up on top. But I played in 3 grand finals. 95, we lost against the Bulldogs. We only lost 3 games that year, and one was a grand final. But if you look back now, we beat Bulldogs 30-0 that year. did we go in there complacent? Oh, the word's not complacent. I remember myself physically, I'd played my game on Tuesday night. I wake up in a lather of sweat. I'd be doing all my carries, and also a couple of referee decisions. Seven tackle sets and all this bullshit. And then 96 come about. We won that game, but the one that probably hurts the most is 97. Yeah, we were the best side on the field, but the game goes for 80 minutes, not 79 and 50 seconds, you know?
Yeah. Well, I remember that 95 grand final. My old man, because he is a Manly supporter, he was blaming Bill Harrigan for everything. It was all Bill Harrigan's fault, you know? I was like,
no, it wasn't Bill. It was. I'll tell you, that wasn't Bill Harrigan. It was someone worse than him. It was a bloke called Eddie Ward.
Oh, was it?
Eddie?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
Eddie Ward. No, that's all right. No, there's not many good ones.
Yeah. My dad was blaming the rest for it the whole time now. And he was a mad Manly supporter. Yeah. And then, like you said, the 97 one, losing in the last second, all it takes is Joey going down the right-hand side. And absolute heartbreak. You leave Manly to go over to London, play for the London Broncos, mate. Was there anything in particular that made you go over there?
Probably to extend my career. I just backed myself maybe to go over there. But looking back now, it was the worst decision of my career. I went to the wrong club. I should have went up north. London Broncos are only new, but it's a chapter in life. You look back at now. I lasted 1 year. I'm a bit of a tight ass, mate. My contract wasn't set up correctly. It was mainly Australian dollars, and back then it was what they call 3 to 1. So when you go and get a pizza for 20 quid, I'd say 20 pounds or 20 quid, I times that by 3. So I'm going $60 a pizza, and they're going, Spud, don't go convert. I converted every day. It nearly killed me. So, but you look in life, I ended up come back in '99 and played for South Sydney. Sure, it was our last year, but that was the year that I met Russell Crowe, and then my life sort of changed direction after meeting him. You know.
Yeah, awesome. When you were a kid, mate, did you have an idol, or did you someone you idolized, growing up? And what about them made you idolize them?
Yeah, of course it was all rugby league. I'm from Parramatta, so my side was Parramatta. Ray Price, Perpetual Motion. He used to go all day. You look at Eric Growth. I remember I used to bump blokes off left, right, and centre in the street. There was always myself and my brother Dean would take on the street. So it'd be 2 versus 8 or something. We'd flog them. But I think for hardness, the old saying, run from the back fence. The harder you run, you don't get hurt. That's a bloke called Jeff Robinson who played for the Canterbury Bulldogs. Mate, he used to run so hard, and he just put his body on the line. And for someone who really wanted to hurt someone was another one called Terry Randall. My God, he was like brick house, He was just solid rock. And when he hurt people, you don't go saying sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, I teach my kids the same thing, mate. If you don't want to get hurt, you just run as hard as you can. Because my kids play rugby league as well, so.
I think it's a hard thing from a parent. Yeah, I suppose this, but as I said, Dad never played footy, and I look at that collision I had with Chief in 1995, and people still talk about that collision. It's from a kick-off, and if anyone's ever seen it on your show, just go and put it, Mark Carroll versus Paul Harrigan. Your eyes will fall out your head. But the crazy thing is I got up, right? But people think about, how'd you get up, Spud? I said, well, because I've been brought up with the analogy is the harder you run, you don't get hurt, and never show you hurt, always get up. Never show you hurt, always get up. I got up. I was hurting. He got me good, right? But he was snoring, not me.
Yeah. I remember that as well. I remember watching it live, or on TV at the time, and mate.
Right.
You talked about before you got to represent Australia. You win the '95 World Cup. But you also get to represent New South Wales. And everyone knows about the old cattle dog story as well. And then how was that sort of environment for you? Like, I mean, you would have absolutely loved it being in that, and Tommy Rodonicus coaching you and calling that cattle dog on the sideline.
Yeah, it was, as a kid, you dream about doing certain things. One of those was to play first grade. And then you want to, when you start playing first grade, you think, okay, I want to go further. Rep side city versus country, and then you want to play New South Wales. And back then, there was so much politics that they picked the same bloody side each year. Oh, because you had a good game last year, you play again. Whereas in '95, they finally picked a side on, on form. But 90, I played 90. I only played how many games? I only played about 7 games, I think. One of those I missed out due to I got suspended for hitting Dave Furner for the Canberra Raiders. But the Carroll log is just meeting someone like Tom Rodonicus, who you look at the way they played in those days. Oh my God, they just bash each other. And he was a halfback. He'd take on any front rower. Yeah. Was he a good coach? Not really. He had enough great players around him who would help him, but just a fantastic person. And there's another one we've lost this year too, Tommy. My God, I've dropped some people this year. But Tommy was a special character, a big piece of my jigsaw puzzle of enjoying footy. That catalogue thing. I still, since I retired 21 years, he loved it. I'd ring him up and I'd go, catalogue. He goes, I love you, Spud. Because that was the call, catalogue. As soon as he called it, I just threw it one punch. It's the only one I've actually probably ever landed, but I'll tell you what, it made a name for itself.
Oh, absolutely. And the other highlight that come out of that was the Jamie Goddard and Andrew Johns Biffo as well. Yeah.
But you got the killer. The killer for that is that Tommy back then was a really heavy smoker, and he got me in a headlock going, I love you, Spud. You did the catalogue, and he had the breath of 40 Alsatians. Nearly killed me. But he actually gave it to gave it to Joey. He gave him everything, but he had zippers all in his mouth.
Oh no. With your life, mate, not just, you just talked about recently, you lost your father and you lost a couple of mates and stuff during your life. Has it been a real dark time in your life? Depressive time, and sort of how did you get through it?
This year's probably been the hardest ever, I guarantee you. Of just the whole escalation of COVID, life at home, stuck in a house, and then trying to revisit my gym again. I've got a gymnasium called Spuds, which I've had now 15, 16 years, and to be told to close the doors and all sorts of stuff, you just got to try and reinvent yourself. It's bloody hard work. But got through. I'll punch my head, but it's got through of it. A lot of hard work, a lot of getting up early, which I've always done. I think the biggest thing since you talk about the word depression and everything, I think you just got to back your mates too. Like there's it's only a handful of mates. It's probably 2 or 3. You say you got mates, but really it's only 2 or 3 you really like. The others are just hangers on. But yeah, it's people out there, mate. It's just and it affects everyone. So I just think it's there's a thing is, are you okay? It's nothing bad about saying to someone, mate, are you okay? And if someone wants to spill some beans, let him spill some beans, man. That's what I do at my gym. My gym is it's me versus one person there, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. Sometimes I have 10 people there. It only takes one person to have a bit of a chat and make sure they're okay. By the end of the day, I'm like a human sponge, mate. Like seriously, it's. I think being a gym owner / trainer, I look at my job as mentor, life coach. But then I learn off my mentors too, who I train as well. So, but the word depression is that's around, man.
Yeah. That was sort of part of my next part of the question was, have you got advice for people? Because mental health is a big issue these days. Have you got any extra advice for them?
Don't be afraid to go and speak to someone. If you think something's going down, venting or speaking is the best form of letting it out. Otherwise, because think about what happens. I think girls, they do get depression, ladies and women, but not as much as blokes, because it's my philosophy. Girls, Jenny, can I have a word here? And this goes, rant. They feel good, whereas blokes, we hold in. we hold in. How are you? I'm okay, but you're not. I'm okay. How are you, mate? Yeah, I'm okay, but you're not. And it stays in here, and that's where you get angst and all this stuff. That's where aggression comes from, and then a decision can go wrong. So I just think these days there's that much out there of help. If you need to go and speak to someone, mate, you're not soft. It's like rugby league. You know, I used to hate going off the field because it was a badge of honour. But it's nothing soft about going to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Have you got any advice for kids these days coming up through, junior footy? Maybe not just in footy or life in general.
Yeah. Well, I just think nothing comes easy, so you got to work hard for excellence. If you want to be the best guitar player or drummer, go and practice. They talk about Andrew Johns, the way he used to be able to kick balls and hit posts. Well, it's like a good golfer. A golfer's in the sand. You and I are happy to get the ball out of the sand, whereas they want to get it in the hole. When they don't get in the hole, they get the shits. I'm just lucky to get out of it. So I've seen someone like Joey Johns put garbage bins and see how many times he can get the ball in. Because in game time, that's what happens. If you practice what you preach, same in rugby league. My thing was all about getting to the 20-metre line. So I'd practice sprints of 20 metres. And you got to learn from your mistakes. If you do make a mistake, you got to learn from it. And don't be hard on yourself. Everyone bloody makes mistakes, but don't do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Perfect advice. We spoke about before about the Perth team coming in for the 18th team, because obviously, the NRL is not going to have 17 teams for too long. Do you reckon that they're going to go to Perth, or do you reckon they're going to go somewhere else for that 18th team?
I have no idea. Now they're talking about North Sydney coming being reinvented, but they've had their chance. North, I reckon they should have. Personally, they should have taken the side up the Central Coast, which is classed as Gosford, to your listeners out there, which is an hour drive up the freeway. Or I can get to Gosford in 30 minutes on my jet ski. If you want to come for a ride, hang on. Which I do, mate. I do most weekends. I'm just at place. I live in a place called Bayview, and that's one of my favourite things now. After finishing footy, just get on my jet ski and just going from 0 to 120 as fast as I can, and I can go up to Gosford in 30 minutes. For a quick beer at Woi Woi, or even call it the Woi Woi. It takes you 25 minutes to get the Woi Woi, have a beer, and come home. Up there, there's just a great stadium. They should have jumped. I don't know why I think the Northern Eagles tried it out, but they were never going to match.
Yeah,
it's got to be a single identity to go up there, not bloody two.
Yep. No, that's fair enough, mate. Mate, I haven't got much else for you, mate. But
it's cool.
Just talk with the book, mate. Where can your fans get the book, mate?
Well, it's called Spud the Mark Carroll Story. Another big one. Big chapter is the forward, which is Russell Crowe did the forward for me. I've worked with Russell for about 7 years, so. The way it reads when I first read this, I threw it across the gym because it just ripped into me straight away. But it reads magnificent. But there's some good stories in there about the bozo, about the cattle log superstitions. I was shocking before games. And my poor wife, life after footy. What I'm trying to do. There's a couple of great photos of myself. My dad was as a muso, and I played in a band with him. I got on stage with him once when he was 60, and one of my highlights this year, and I said at the funeral which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. That he read my book, he loved it, but also I played in the band this year as well, and he just see his eyes light up. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
But that's my thing now. It's sure I've got my gym and I've got my family, but music's now starting to come into my life at the age of 54. We've got a band we call True Sports, and we've got some fantastic people in it. We've got 3 Australian cricketers, a bloke called Gavin Robinson, Richard Cheekwee, and Mike Whitney. Everyone will know who Mike Whitney is. Yep. And then we've got myself, and I spoke about Eric Groth at the start regards his bump off. He's my other guitarist. So I'm actually playing in the band with Eric Grove. Do you believe that? I pinch myself bloody every day. And then we've got two real musicians, and we've had one gig, we nailed it, and we've got plenty of work this year or next year coming up. So yeah, look out.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Look, mate, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for having a chat with me, mate. I know you're a busy man. My condolences to you, mate, for your loss of your father and that. I know personally how it feels, mate. So I lost my mother when I was a young kid. So and, it's a shitty situation, but yeah, thank you so much for your time, mate, and having a chat with me.
Keep close. Let me know how you're going. All right.
Yeah, awesome. Always, mate. Thank you very much, buddy. See you, mate.
See you. Bye. See you, champ.
See you, mate.